Hello everyone, ni hao, bonjour, bienvenidos, welcome to all. This is Stephen M R Covey, and I'm delighted to be able to address you at your HR conference there in Hong Kong that you're attending right now. I've been invited to do this by Paul Arkwright, the publisher of HR Magazine. Thank you, Paul, for this opportunity, and I wish my best wishes to all of you attending this conference, that it will be everything that you're hoping for. And I'm delighted to have this chance to present on the topic that I think is so critical for HR managers today, all around the world. I was recently in Hong Kong and had a discussion on this very topic there, and so I think that you'll appreciate this. And the topic is on trust, and what I call the speed of trust and smart trust. And the whole idea is how trust is affecting every aspect of our lives, of our teams, of our organizations, not just in social ways, but in economic ways. So let me share three main points, three big ideas that I think that you'll find are really valuable to you as an HR manager and leader within your organization. And then after sharing these three big ideas, I'll talk about what you can do as an HR leader to really run with this and be a leader, an example, and a model of this within your organization. So here's the three big ideas as it relates to trust. The first big idea is that trust is an economic driver, not merely a social virtue. Let me put it another way. There is a business case for trust, and it's a compelling case. And here's why. It's because trust always affects two measurable outcomes, always: speed and cost. And when trust goes down in a relationship, or when trust goes down on a team, or in an organization, in a culture, with customers, with partners, when the trust goes down, you're going to find that the speed goes down with it. Everything will take you longer to do, much, much longer, and the cost will go up. Everything will cost you more, much more. Now this is what we might call a tax, a low trust tax. Why does this happen? Because of all the steps we have to take to compensate for that lack of trust. The checking, the verifying, the validating, and so forth. And it's a tax. It's a wasted tax. But here's the good news. The good news is that the converse is equally true. And that is when the trust goes up in the relationship, or on the team, or in the culture, in the company, with the customer, with the partners, in the marketplace. When the trust goes up, you'll find that the speed goes up with it. Everything happens faster, and the cost comes down. Everything costs you less. Now that is a dividend, a high trust dividend. My friends, it is that simple, that real, and that predictable, and it's playing out everywhere. Let me give you one example. A Watson-Wyatt study showed this, that high trust organizations outperform low trust organizations by 286% in total return to shareholders. That stock price plus dividends is nearly 3 times higher. So there's a 3 times performance multiplier to high trust. Greater profits, greater results, greater outcomes when there's high trust. That's the first point. It's the economics of trust. There's a business side, a business case for trust. Here's the second big idea. The second big idea is that trust and the ability to create trust is the number one competency of leadership needed today, more than any other. Now that's a bold statement to make because there's a lot of important leadership competencies to have, to be good at today. And I'm arguing of all those things to be good at, the ability to create trust is the most significant. Here's why. It's very simple. It's because if you get good at trust, it will make you better at everything else that you need to do as an organization, as a team, as a leader. For instance, your ability to collaborate goes up when there's high trust. It's hard to collaborate with people that you don't trust. Now you can coordinate with them, but true collaboration requires a level of trust. Your ability to partner goes up when there's high trust. Again, it's hard to be partners with someone that you don't trust. But when you trust each other, it's far easier to move to a real partnering relationship. It's easier to innovate when there's high trust. Why? Because there's so many dimensions to innovation, but you got to have high trust in order to sustain a culture of innovation. Without that culture of high trust, it's hard to keep the innovation flowing. I could go on and on and on. The point is, you get good at trust, it'll make you better at everything else you need to do, like executing your strategy. You can do it faster when there's high trust. Like attracting people, retaining people, those all go up when there's high trust. Like engaging your people. Employee engagement follows high trust. When there's low trust, it disengages people. Nothing disengages your workforce like not being trusted. And nothing creates engagement like increasing the trust and being trusted. So the main point is this: you get good at trust, it'll make you better at everything else that you need to do. And that's true of you as a leader, or of a team, or of an organization. You build a high trust culture, your ability to accomplish everything else will go up, and it will go up dramatically. So that's the second big idea, the leadership case for trust. And another way of putting it is this, is that trust is the new currency of this global economy. And it is the essence of the leadership that's needed today in an interdependent, connected world. Now, the third big idea. The third big idea is that trust and the ability to create trust is a learnable competency. It is a skill. It is something we can do, we can learn, we can understand, we can master, we can apply, we can get good at. The ability to create trust. And most people have never thought of it that way. They think of trust as something that you either have or that you don't have. That it's either there or that it's not there. And the reality is that's just your starting point. In the same way that you can diminish and lose trust through your behavior, you can also consciously, deliberately create trust, establish it, and grow it also through your behavior. So trust is really a function of credibility and behavior. Credibility and behavior. And you can get good at this. You can learn how to behave in ways that grow trust for yourself, for your team, for your organization. And you can also build the credibility of your own leadership, of your team's leadership, and of your organization. And credibility and behavior will create and produce trust. And in the Speed of Trust and in Smart Trust, I talk about how you can get really good at this as a team and then as an organization, as well as leaders. So those are the three big ideas. First, there's a business case for trust. Secondly, there's a leadership case for trust. And third, trust is a learnable competency. Now, you're at an HR conference. So what can you do as a leader of HR? Well, I suggest a couple of things. The first thing is you can be an example of this, a model of this. Lead out with this. Increase your own credibility. And the best way I know for HR people to increase their credibility is to, yes, be good at the HR function and all the different dimensions and processes of that, the leadership side of that, the OD side of that, and so forth. But also to make sure you are bilingual, that you not only understand the culture and the people and the leadership, but that you also understand the language of business and how the company makes money and how you really perform in the marketplace. And when you're bilingual, when you speak the language of the culture and the language of the business, that makes you credible with line leaders everywhere. So lead out with your own credibility. And you can be an example of this, a model of this. Second, you can help be a catalyst to help other line leaders understand the importance of trust. Make the business case of trust for them. Show the leadership case of trust and show how trust is a learnable competency. Help them see how to do this themselves. You model it first, but then you help teach, coach, mentor, counsel, so that they can see how to do it themselves. And I've learned that HR leaders can be extraordinary catalysts at helping to make that happen in an organization. And finally, a third role you can play in HR is to institutionalize this, to systematize this, to make this real and transparent and really work in your organization. So that it's not just one leader, but that it's a culture of high trust that gets built, that changes everything around you. So my friends, it's great to be with you. I'll conclude with the words of Confucius, who many years ago was asked, what does it take to have good government for a nation state? He thought about it and he said, to have good government, we need three things. We need weapons so you can defend yourself. We need food so we can feed ourselves. And we also need trust. And if you have to give up one, you'd give up weapons first. If you have to give up another, you'd give up food second. But you would preserve trust to the end, because without trust, we cannot stand. And so it is. Without trust, we cannot stand. It's true for any society, nation, organization, team, relationship, and person. But with trust, we can not only stand, but we can move at an incredible speed, what I call the speed of trust. I thank you so much, my friends, at this HR conference in Hong Kong through HR Magazine. Paul, all of you, well done. Congratulations. I look forward to being with you again in Hong Kong shortly. All the best.